welcome back to the My Mini Woodshop YouTube channel, and today I will be making a birdhouse, and this is a very simple project, an instructional video on how to make a birdhouse, and the tools that I will be using are a miter saw or a table saw. You can use a miter gauge on a table saw, but the best saw to use is a miter saw. You'll need a drill. You can use a drill press, and I recommend Forstner bits. They cut very cleanly. If you don't have those bits, you can also use a spade bit. You can also use a hole saw bit, and I have pictures for those somewhere over here. And you will also need a nail gun, which you'll use to nail it together. You can also use a hammer and nails simply. You will need a wood stain. It can be oil or it can be water, a rag to apply that stain. And I don't really recommend using a brush to put on the stain. I think it's easier to do it with a rag. And finally, you'll need a wood finish, such as polyurethane or polyacrylic. I recommend polyurethane because it's an oil-based finish and it's going to give you a long-lasting protection. The board that I will be using here is listed at Home Depot as 6 inches wide. But and the key here is 5.5 inches wide. It's actually listed at 6 inches, but it's actually 5.5. And I got like an 11-foot piece of this, and I've made tons of projects from it. So I really suggest getting a big board if you want to make lots of birdhouses. So let's mark up the wood. Okay, so I have the plans right here. I have a link to these in the description. I think these are great plans to use. Very understanding, and I'm just going to mark it up. So time lapse in 3, 2, 1. Marking it up, and now I'm actually outside at my miter saw, and you might see I leave a little gap in between here, in between cuts, and that is because the width of the miter saw blade that I use is wider than, so to say, like a blade like bandsaw has. So let's get cutting. Okay, so now I have a 1 5/8 inch Forstner bit in the drill. I'm not using a drill press. You can use a drill press. It really doesn't matter. But here I have the piece cut out. And the top of the bit, like around here, I'm going to line up with that line. So probably about right there. Maybe a little farther up. Yep. So I'm going to do that, and yeah. Okay, so I just finished using the nail gun to nail the birdhouse together, and it came out really nicely. I might just do a little touch-up sanding, maybe with the Dremel in here, and a little bit more around the edges, because it's a little straggly and just need to sand just a little bit. But as I said earlier, you can just use a hammer and nails, but having a nail gun like this that connects to an air compressor is very useful, very handy. And if you are using one of these, just make sure that you have the right PSI for it, and it's as high as you can go, because if you don't have enough PSI when nailing, then the nail might not even go through both pieces of wood enough for it to hold it together. So just make sure that. And here's the stain I'm going to be using. Special Walnut Minwax Wood Finish. And it's a small can, but you could probably buy bigger cans of this. Yeah, I'm going to put a link to this in the description, and also the plans for this, so you guys can build it if you would like. Okay, so now I'm in a well-ventilated area, which is my garage. It's a lot bigger than the wood shop, so that's why I'm in here. So that's tip number 1, be in a well-ventilated space. But since it's not fully ventilated, I have this P100 mask. You can see the P100 labeling somewhere in pink. Yep, P100. And that means if you have a mask like this and it says P100 somewhere on like the filters and stuff, oh, gotta get focused. That means that it is rated for oil-based things like oil-based stain. Mask I'm putting on, so you won't be able to hear me very well, but I'm going to start a time lapse. Okay, so I just finished making it. Turned out really good. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you're watching this on Facebook, please share. I think it turned out really nice. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you all for watching.